How did we get here? Episode 4. The Garage, the Dropout, and the machine that put a computer on every desk. Last episode, we left you with a question nobody in the computer industry was asking: what if anyone could have one? A regular person. At the time, the idea sounded ridiculous. Computers were massive, expensive machines. They processed payroll, managed databases, and filled entire rooms. The notion that an ordinary person would want a computer sitting in their house seemed absurd. Two people in California disagreed, and what they built over the next few years permanently changed what computers were for. In 1975, Silicon Valley was just beginning to emerge, and in a lecture hall at a local community college, hobbyists called the Homebrew Computer Club gathered every few weeks to talk about a radical new idea: personal computing. The thing everyone was obsessing over was a machine called the Altair 8800. It had no screen, no keyboard. You programmed it using switches on the front panel and read outputs from blinking lights. And despite barely being usable, it sold out immediately. That told two young men in the room everything they needed to know. People wanted computers. They just needed someone to make them usable. Those two men were Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs. Wozniak was the engineering genius, a brilliant hardware designer who could build elegant machines from almost nothing. Jobs was something else entirely. He wasn't an engineer. What he understood was people. He could look at a piece of technology and instantly sense what it needed to become. In 1976, working out of the Jobs family garage in Los Altos, Wozniak designed the Apple I. Unlike the Altair, you didn't have to assemble it yourself from a kit. It arrived already built. The first batch sold to a local computer store for $500 each. But the real breakthrough came a year later. The Apple II had a keyboard, color graphics. It looked less like laboratory equipment and more like an actual consumer product. Most importantly, it was designed for people who didn't already understand computers. That changed everything. The Apple II became one of the first hugely successful personal computers in history, selling millions of units and helping create an entirely new industry almost overnight. Apple went public in 1980. Steve Jobs was 25 years old. But the biggest breakthrough in modern computing wasn't invented in the Jobs garage, it was borrowed. In 1979, Jobs visited a research facility called Xerox PARC. Xerox engineers had developed something revolutionary, a computer interface built around windows, icons, folders, and a pointing device called a mouse. Instead of typing commands into a blank screen, users could visually interact with information. Jobs immediately understood what Xerox executives did not. This was the future of computing. In 1984, Apple launched the Macintosh. The Mac popularized the graphical interface, the desktop metaphor, clickable folders, pull-down menus, the basic visual language that modern computers still use today. At the same time, another young entrepreneur was quietly building something even more powerful. A 19-year-old Harvard dropout named Bill Gates had started a small software company with his friend Paul Allen. They called it Microsoft. In 1980, IBM, the biggest computer company in the world, needed an operating system for its new personal computer. Microsoft provided one, called MS-DOS. IBM PCs became enormously successful, and because Microsoft licensed its software broadly, the same operating system soon appeared on machines made by dozens of other companies. By the late 1980s, Microsoft software was running on the majority of personal computers on Earth. The personal computer revolution had arrived, but there was still one major limitation. These machines couldn't really talk to each other. That was about to change. In 1989, a British scientist named Tim Berners-Lee proposed a system for connecting information across computers all over the world. He called it the World Wide Web. And once computers became connected, humanity would begin generating something on a scale never seen before. Data. billions of searches. Photos, human behavior recorded digitally for the first time in history. And buried inside that explosion of information was the raw material that would eventually train the AI systems transforming the world today. The personal computer revolution didn't just put a machine on every desk, it laid the foundation for the internet age and for the AI revolution that was still coming. That's episode 4, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you in episode 5.